Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Ngayon ay Saturday, January 30, Sabado. Wala kaming overtime sa Nike kasi na-hit na yung target namin for the month. Kaya wala mo ng overtime. Baka next Saturday na ulit. Tapos ngayon kasi walang overtime sa Nike, andito ako ngayon sa ibang trabaho ko, yung part-time. So nag-deliver ako ng pagkain sa Uber Eats. Andito ako ngayon sa downtown. Andito talaga sa heart ng downtown. Nandito ako sa Scotiabank Arena. Dito yung official court ng Toronto Raptors, yung official team ng Canada. So, nagpahinga lang ako, nagkuha lang muna ako ng 15 minutes break. Kasi nag-umpisa ako kanina ng 5 ng madaling araw, tapos tuloy-tuloy. Ngayon ay 11:45 na. Walang tigil, busy masyado. Yun, kasi stay at home order dito sa Toronto. Kaya mga tao nasa bahay lang. So maraming nag-o-order sa online. Kaya kami naman mga Uber Eats driver, busy. So essential worker kami ngayon. Ako ngayon. So guys, ang ipapakita ko ngayon sa vlog na to is yung isa sa part na tinuturo ng school. Ito ay yung air brake. Air brake, kailangan dito sa Ontario, kailangan mong may air brake endorsement. Yun ay yung Z. Napapansin nyo yung sa license namin, AZ license. So A meaning sa tractor trailer yan, tapos yung Z is air brake. Air brake kasi ang braking system ng tractor trailer is through hangin. Hangin ang makapaghinto ng sasakyan. Hindi yung hydraulic. Katulad nito yung mga sasakyan na brake fluid ang gamit. So hydraulic brake system to. So yun nga guys, air brake. So kailangan license ka ng air brake para makapag-drive ka ng tractor trailer. Yung air brake, may written exam yan sa ministry, sa MTO, Ministry of Transport Ontario. Dapat mong ipasa. Tapos after nun, may practical exam. Yun ay kasabay dun sa pag mag road test ka na dun sa tractor trailer mo. So AZ. So parang separate ang license ng air brake, tapos yung sa tractor trailer naman. So parang dalawang license ang ipasa mo. Dito sa Ontario, ewan ko lang sa iba, hindi ako pamilyar. Kaya ang air brake ay i-complete mo yung written at saka yung practical. Tapos ang mga sasabihin ko is, ang i-discuss ko is ayon lang dun sa ano yung tinuturo ng school, yung sa AZ school ko, paano namin maipasa ang practical exam. I'm not an experienced truck driver, kaya ang mga sasabihin ko is ayon lang dun sa mga tinuturo ng school. So ano yung mga steps, paano gawin para mapasa namin yung air brake practical exam. Isa rin to sa parang guide para sa mga nagbabalak dyan na magkuha ng license, ng AZ license. So at least ragdagang ko anto information. So yun nga, air brake, nag-written exam ako sa MTO, tapos natanggap ako sa school, na-complete ko yung 8 weeks na schooling. Tapos after nun, nung January 14 nga, nag road test na ako. So isa yung air brake doon. So ang air brake, ang pag-exam is, ito is more on speaking. So parang kuan kasi to, parang IELTS. Kung yung sa mga driver na nandyan sa Pilipinas or mga wala pa sa Canada, na yung mga experienced driver na papasok dito sa Canada, required sila ng IELTS. So may speaking, may reading, may listening. Ito no, kami nga nandito, yung mga unexperienced driver, yung mga baguhan talaga. So yun ang parang IELTS namin, kasi itong air brake, ang sa practical is more on speaking. Speaking kasi kailangan namin i-demonstrate sa examiner yung mga different categories, yung mga components, yung mga function ng air brake. Meron siyang 9 na components yung air brake. At practical exam, katabi mo yung examiner, tapos i-demonstrate mo lahat detailed, tapos dapat ma-demonstrate mo sa tamang paraan. Ibig kong sabihin is, kasi more on speaking, dapat mong ibigkas yung mga words na malinaw, malakas para maintindihan ng examiner. Tapos yung parang step by step, so each category yan. So wala namang order kung anong dapat unahin, anong pangalawa. Basta isabi mo lang sa examiner na ano yung tinitest mo or chine-check mo. Kasi sabihin naman ng examiner na hindi kailangan dapat may order, is sabihin mo lang sa akin kung anong part ng air brake system ang tinitest mo. So yun nga, ang sinasabi ko, yung order ng sabi ko is ayon lang dun sa school na tinuturo sa amin. So may 9 parts. Bago ang lahat, siyempre introduce mo yung sarili mo. Sabihin mo, sir, good morning, I am Marlon, so I am here to do my air brake practical. So yun, parang intro lang. Nasa sa inyo na yun paano nyong gawin. Basta before I start, sir, I am going to build up my pressure to operating pressure range 90 to 100 psi. My air pressure now is 100 psi, sir. First, vehicle secured, both parking brakes applied, transmissions in neutral, and wheels are properly chopped. Next, I am going to test the low air pressure warning device. So I have more than 100 psi, sir. I am going to fan my brakes. Sir, it came at 65 psi, no defect. If it's below 55 psi, defective. Next, I am going to test the air pressure buildup. So from 85 to 100 psi, it should not take more than 2 minutes. So from 8, we're 80 now,
And my RPMs are
and my from RPM 6 to 900 to 85. Start timer. Sir, 100 psi, 30 seconds, no defect. If it's more than 2 minutes, defective. Next, I am going to confirm the air compressor governor settings. Cutout should not be more than 145 psi, and the cut in should not be below 80 psi. First, I am going to test the cutout. Now we are at 110 psi.
we're listening for the exhaust from the air dryer, right? The noise.
130 psi. Cut out, sir, at 135 psi, no defect. If it's more than 145 psi, defective. Next, I am going to test the cut in, sir. I am going to release my tractor parking brake and fan my brakes to 100 psi. 100 psi. Going to watch my indicator. Sir, my indicator in my gauge is moving up, no defect. If it doesn't move at 80 psi, defective. Next, I am going to test the air loss rate. So I have more than 100 psi, sir. At this time, I am going to release both my brakes,
System stabilized.
and I will wait for the air to stabilize in the system.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take a couple of minutes.
And it takes a while, it takes a couple of minutes. I still hear the hissing sound.
This is the longest part of your air brake system, right? So your air test, right? So it takes a little bit for
Time.
it to stabilize, right?
turn off my engine and ignition on.
Okay, and you're at 100.
I'm at 100.
So not to lose more than
4 psi in 1 minute.
Okay, good. Now, if you just had a tractor, it would be 3 psi.
Yeah.
And if you had a double trailer, it'd be 6.
Yeah.
So you would tell him that so that he understands, you know, the different combinations, right? That you're not some dumbass that just knows only one thing, right? That you've been trained well, you know different applications, you know all of them.
And 1 minute, sir. I lose like 1 psi only. No defect. If I lose more than 4 psi, defective.
Good.
Next, I am going to test the tractor protection valve.
Good.
I have 100 psi, sir.
Good.
And I'm going to start the vehicle.
So you have 100, so you don't need to because it's already
okay, so before I proceed, I am going outside, sir, to disconnect my airline, the blue service line.
Yep.
I'll release my tractor parking brake, and I'll do my
Full application.
full application.
I hear no noise, no
I
defect.
hear no noise, no defect, no leakage. If I hear a hissing sound,
Yep.
effective. Good. Next, I am going to test the automatic application of spring brakes.
Good.
So I have below 90 psi, sir. I am going to build it up.
Very good. And while you're doing that, reconnect.
While the pressure, I am building up the pressure, I am going outside to reconnect my airline and disengage my wheel chuck for my next test. So when I disengage both,
Just one.
or just front, okay. Sir, I have more than 100 psi. I'm going to turn off my engine. My air pressure is 120, sir.
You always confirm what your air pressure is before you do anything tense.
Okay. So I'm going to supply air to the trailer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I hear the application apply.
I hear the application apply.
So no
Supplying the system, no defect. If I don't hear the supply,
application
it's
supply.
defective.
Very good.
Next, I am going to test all my brakes.
Good.
So I am going to start my engine. So sir, I have more than 100 psi. First, I am going to test the tractor parking brake. So I'll put the transmission into drive, release my trailer parking brake, and move the vehicle slightly forward. It's holding, sir. No defect. Next, I am going to test the trailer parking brake. So I am going to release the tractor parking brake, move the vehicle slightly forward, and it's holding. No defect, sir. Next, I'm going to test the trailer handbrake. So I'm going to release both brakes, apply trailer handbrake, and move the vehicle slightly forward. It's holding, sir. Next, no defect. Next, I'm going to test the service brake. I'm going to move the vehicle forward and apply my brake. It's holding, no defect. Next, I am going to drain my air tanks. At this time, I am going to build my pressure to maximum, to 135 psi. So while my pressure is building up, I'm going outside there, so to resecure my wheel chucks.
And turn the wheel all the way to the left. Prepare for the following test. So our cutout happened already, right?
Sir, my cutout happens already. Maximum
135.
pressure 135. I'm going to shut off the engine.
Yep.
And vehicle is secure, parking brakes applied, transmission neutral, and wheels are properly chopped. So first, I am going to drain the wet tank.
Located in the middle. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135.
No moisture, oil and sludge, and the valve is opening, closing freely, no defect. Next, the secondary tank. No moisture, oil and sludge, the valve is opening, closing freely, no defect. Next, the primary tank. No moisture, oil and sludge, the valve is opening, closing freely, no defect. If I find a minor defect, I must notify the owner operator of the defect. I must write the defect in the daily inspection report. I must continue to drive the vehicle. If I find a major defect, I must not drive the vehicle. It is prohibited by law. I must notify the owner operator of the defect, and I must write the defect in the daily inspection report. That is the part 1 of my airbag.
May part 2 pa, which is the mark and measure of the push rod stroke ng air brake. So sabihin mo, now sir, I am going to demonstrate the mark and measure of the push rod stroke. So bago ang lahat, i-confirm mo ulit yung pressure. Sir, I am going inside the truck, confirm the air pressure. Tapos sabihin mo, sir, my air pressure is kunwari low, I'm going to build it up. Pero pag 100 psi, my air pressure 100 psi, so I am going to release all the brakes. So release, tapos baba ka. Sabihin mo, sir, I am going to identify the size of the brake chamber. So may measuring device ka nyan. So magsasabi doon na anong size ng brake chamber mo. So yung sa akin nung pag-test ko, ang size is 20 mm. So nakalagay naman doon. So sir, the size of my brake chamber is 20 mm and it is a long stroke. So my short stroke, my long stroke. So how did I know it? Because it comes with a tag. So may tag kasi siya. So if it comes with a tag, a square port or a stamp, it is a long stroke. So therefore it should not be more than 2 inches of stroke. So yun. So dapat, and then i-mark mo yung push rod dun sa base. So ngayon, after that, sabihin mo, sir, I am going inside the cab, confirm my air pressure and apply the brake mate. So yun nga, aakyat ka, i-confirm mo, kadalasan low yan. So sabihin mo talaga na, sir, my air pressure is low, I'm going to build it up. So binild ko ng 110. Tapos nung nag 110 na, kinonfirm ko sa kanya na, sir, my air pressure is 110. I'm going to turn off the engine and apply the brake mate. So in-apply ko yung brake mate. Tapos kung pag-apply ko kung saan bumaba yung pressure, kinonfirm ko ulit sa kanya, sir, my air pressure is 100 psi. Kasi titingnan niya yan, i-confirm niya, aakyat yan siya, siguraduhin niya kung tama ba yung sinabi mo. So yun nga, 100 psi. Tapos bumaba ka doon, bumaba ako, measure ko yung stroke. So pag measure ko is 1 inches and 25, so 1.25 inches. So sabihin ko, sir, it's 1.25 inches, 1 and 1/4. Ano bang pagkasabi mo? Basta it is within the adjustment limit. So no defect. But if it's more than 2 inches, it is a major defect. I must not drive the vehicle. It is prohibited by law to drive. I must notify the owner operator of the defect, and I must write the defect in the daily inspection report. That concludes my air brake practical. So yun lang guys. After nun, pag ma-demonstrate mo ng maayos, pasado ka. Sabihin niya doon kung ano ang result mo. Tapos mag-proceed ka doon sa A na exam, which is yung tractor trailer. Kasi kung mag-fail ka sa air brake practical mo, hindi ka makapag-continue dun sa tractor trailer na practical. So yun guys, air brake. So I hope na makadagdag to ng kaalaman sa mga kung sino mang may balak na magkuha ng AZ license. So yun lang guys, salamat. Mag-resume na ako sa Uber ko kasi kuha na 12 na. malakas na ang ordering. So guys, thank you.